Coming to you from beautiful downtown Spokane, it's the QueerCentric, an hour of opinions you didn't ask for, but you should have, with your host, Queerly Johnny.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very, very cold day where we record the show in Spokane, but we're glad that hopefully you're snuggled up on the couch, warm, listening to us like you always do. So we appreciate that. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This room gets more and more people every time we come in here. Because we started, there were 3 of us. Then now there's like a ton of us. I can't count, so I can't go above 3. But there's more than 3 in this room.
Very good. Very good. There's certainly more than 3.
More the merrier.
I know. So thank you, everybody, for coming in. Listen, you know who the hell I am. Who the hell are you?
Me?
Yes.
Me?
You're always on. I'm like, who is this guy that keeps coming in? I don't understand.
Tom, the audio guy that also chips in, gives us 2 cents.
Yeah, and all the voices. You do all
at
these
least half
different
of them.
voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a lot of voices.
You do. You do a lot of voices. I wanted to start because I'm mad at you because you leave on a cruise.
I do.
2 days.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Getting out of this weather, going to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that's
I can't tell you the stops because I didn't actually book the cruise.
But you know you're going to warmer climates.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to eat way too much and then feel really bad about myself and then be one of those people that, says, I'm going to lose weight this year. And it won't happen.
Whatever. You're still in that beautiful sweet spot of having the metabolism that's moving. That's good.
Yeah. I wish.
And so you get one cruise, I think, when you're in your 20s, and this is it. So,
well, and at the tail end, too. I really didn't.
Right?
So.
Enjoy it to death. Just to have a great time. Is it just like a regular cruise, or are you guys going on a gay cruise?
We're going to be, I think we're probably going to be the only gay people.
You'll turn it
there.
into a gay cruise?
But it's just a regular cruise.
Fun.
Yeah.
How long is a cruise? I've never done a cruise. Anybody here done a cruise?
Nope.
No.
No boats for me, no thank you.
I want to go on one, but I have a fear that I'm meant to die by great white shark. And so I'm like, why would I put myself out? I mean, sure. Right? I'm like, no, I feel like my fear's so great, it must mean something.
Well, it's practically impossible mechanically for a cruise boat to sink. So unless you jump over the side,
and yet in the last 10 years, there have been a few.
Well, they didn't sink; they tipped over.
I see.
Okay.
That you know what? That's just giving the sharks an entry. That's what it's doing. I was like, oh, here's some water. Why don't you go on and have a snack on this cruise ship? See?
I think you watched Jaws too many times.
Zac Efron has this Earth show out. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes,
but have you seen? He always asks if there's sharks in the water.
Yes.
And he's like, let me test it. And he takes a ladle and he goes, that's salt water. There's got to be sharks in here somewhere.
There's sharks in the water. It's so true. I mean, I think intelligent people, we're afraid of sharks. Fears? Let's go around. Fear? What's your phobia?
Well, I don't like deep water. I can't see the bottom of a whole lot. I don't like to swim in it.
You should go on a cruise.
Yeah. Well, and people really get upset because I used to be a lifeguard, and so they're like, "How can you be afraid of water like that?" And I'm like, "Well, I can see the bottom of a regular swimming pool. It's when I can't see the bottom, and I know there could be things."
And to be fair, you didn't tell them you were a good lifeguard. You just
Nobody
said
died.
You were a lifeguard.
Nobody died. I got to yell at kids. Nobody died.
Nice.
Yeah.
Deep water. Okay. Please tell us, Emmett. What is yours?
Titanic was supposed to be an unsinkable ship.
Oh.
But.
True point.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was. I know. Poor Tom. We're going to give him
They hyped
complex.
that up after it sank. They're like, this will make a good news article. We'll say that it was unsinkable.
We're like, Tom, have a great time. Try not to die. And we'll see when you get back.
Because I need to edit the videos. That's why.
Yes, exactly. Oh, my God. So what's your
drowning
phobia?
on a ship.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's very specific.
Yeah, you watch Titanic.
They do have pools
on
the ships, so it is possible to drown on the ship.
It is.
Oh my gosh. Or Jaws. Thanks, Dad. Watched that during childhood.
That's what fucked me up. I was, I think, 4 years old, and my parents, in their wisdom, was like, let's show the kids this terrifying movie. Do you know, it's why I can't swim, because I would not, even in the pool, I was sure some shark was going to sneak in.
Well, in the 3rd or 4th movie, the shark actually got into a freshwater pool.
Thank you. And then I would like to say, then I learned that bull sharks can swim in fresh water. They can be in frickin' rivers. There is no waterway that's safe. Yes, they're in the. Yeah. I'm like, I'm never going. I'm never like.
Well, only up to the first dam.
Yeah. Well, I'm not always that bright, so I'll probably get into that part and be like, what? It feels like something's nibbling on. Oh, there is no foot left. No foot.
Just like that. That's what happens.
That is
What, do
exactly.
you get a spinal tap?
Just
Like,
feels
why,
like a
why
little
wouldn't you feel it till it was gone?
Tickle, tickle,
Listen.
chomp.
We're not supposed to go in the
Can
ocean.
we use that as a soundbite, please? Tickle, tickle, jump. That makes me smile. Corey, what's your phobia?
I have an irrational fear of snakes.
Oh,
And generally not like, if someone has like a boa or something like that, like
Yeah.
no big deal. I can hold that
Right.
in the wild.
So are you a hiker?
Yeah.
Because they're
Well,
all
not anymore
over
because I'm
here.
broken all the time now, but
Yeah, you are.
I used to be.
That is terrifying. Have you run into snakes?
I had a rattlesnake under my back porch last year.
But that's not irrational to be afraid of that.
Serious?
No,
Yeah.
but I think that the fear then comes like, is that snake going to come in my dog door?
Yeah.
I still don't think that's irrational.
I've
Whoa,
never
whoa,
thought
whoa!
of
No,
that.
it's very irrational. It can't happen, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
This is where he gets payback.
What
for
I'm
us
saying is,
making-
Wow.
I said I think it's plausible, for, or at least it's good for you to think about that. I
Yeah.
don't think that's irrational to think about and be
But
worried
see,
about.
this is where phobia comes in, where all you can do is think about that.
Right? Yeah.
It's not calming
It's cold
down.
outside right now.
Gotcha.
They're
I
gonna,
guess, yeah, the
they
amount of-
slither inside.
The amount
See?
of thought going into it is a problem, I guess.
Yeah. But no, if I go golfing or hiking, like you hit a ball out into the rough, and it's like, nope, that's gone.
So that's its new home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like if I have a golf club with me, then I'm safe, right?
Sure. Can I tell you, I have a friend, and I adore her, Lanessa, if you're listening. But last year, she loves to golf. You would think it would be totally safe golfing, and she hits the I almost said tennis ball. She hits the golf. She was playing a different form. She hits it. It hits a pole, comes back, and breaks her nose, and she had to have dental work because it messed her teeth up. I'm like, see, there's nothing sacred.
That's
nothing
like one of
safe.
those TikTok videos.
It
First
is.
try.
God, why wasn't I
Boy,
there
those
to
make me
film
laugh.
it?
When people get hurt on TikTok, I don't know why. I'm a bad person.
Well, it's like the America's Funniest Home Videos is like America's
Yeah.
Funniest Shot to the Nuts. Like really, that was.
Yes. Oh my God.
Anytime you see a little kid with a wiffle bat,
You know what's
dad's
coming.
getting hit.
And Dad's tossing the ball. Yep.
Yep.
Every time.
Every time, and they think it's funny.
Though I've seen
Dad
that
does not.
I've
Well,
seen
they
that
submit
subverted.
it for $100,000, so obviously they think it's
Exactly.
funny.
I've seen that subverted where you think that's going to happen, and then the dad just hits the kid in the face by accident.
That's
so
funny, too.
got to keep things shaken up.
Yes, exactly. Well, as always, as you've come to, all our listeners have come to expect, we're going to go down roads that is not what we
Are we
intended.
skipping your fear?
Oh no, I said mine was sharks.
That's it.
That is my biggest fear. Sharks, and can I say, and I don't think this is irrational either. Spiders, I hate them, and ever since I was bit by the hobo spider. Sorry, let me make that.
We are in
make that
Spokane.
clear.
It's possible.
I once told my brother the story about how afraid of hobos I was because they'll bite you and your leg can fall off, all this stuff. And he, the whole time, he's just picturing, why is the homeless problem so bad? And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Hobo spiders, because I got bit this year. So I am afraid of spiders now because that was horrible. So, but sharks still trump spiders. And I've actually had an issue with a spider. So, yeah. But we've gone to therapy. Me and the spider are okay now. The worst thing about spiders is they can bite you and you not know it until, we're a shark. I'll probably notice.
Until you start
But-
developing superpowers. And then
Yeah.
you find,
Oh, why couldn't that have happened? All I got was really sick, and that's no fun. That's no fun. And it was in a very delicate spot. So going to the doctor, and she's this older woman. I'm just like, this was not. Listen, it's been a while, but this isn't doing it for me. This is not it. But so that was my phobia. So let's actually pretend we have a show. Everybody, really quick. So I wanted to say really quick, if you don't know Range Media, they're pretty cool publication. They're pretty cool, keeping us in the know, not only in our valley but everywhere. And we went and Kurt and I saw them do their live podcast last night and teach me about something I didn't know, which was ranked choice voting. And it was really cool to see them do their live show. I mean, it was definitely this is what I'll say. We are a little more lively in this room, tiny bit, but it was still fun. I think our show is going to be amazing because we're
us, and we're amazing.
Exactly. I know. So on that note as well, we actually came for a reason, and it's because everybody, I'm going to start talking about this, every show, February 25th. It's a Saturday. Please mark your calendars. 7 p.m. We're throwing a huge live, I call it a coming out party, but it's going to be, there is music, there is comedians, there is me acting like a really good late night host, and it is, there's food, and the library is kind enough to allow us to use their new stage space. So
Whoop, whoop.
everybody,
And we won't have to whisper.
we won't have to whisper. No, I did get it. So I'm having this meeting yesterday, and we're trying to see if we can make this happen. And there was a moment where the library goes, you know, you guys don't do it all the time, but you cuss a little bit. And I just wanted to ask, because there's kids that are going to hear. And I'm like, listen, I'm a grown-ass man. I promise you, I promise everybody on that show, we can probably not. We can probably. So I want someone on the side of the stage who just has an air horn. And anytime it happens, they just do it really loud.
Well, there has to be a delay for that to work.
Well, we'll make
Like a broadcast delay.
Well, we'll scan. Kurt's job will be scanning the audience to see if there's children.
And telling them to leave.
And then he just runs at them, grabs them, and it's a very scary moment, but it's fun for us.
Oh, I want to do the bullhorn.
It's so
They're going to
I
ask
would
for
really
us
be
back.
good at it.
It would be
Really,
so
the
good.
concern was children. That annoys me so much.
Really?
It's like how many of them video games are shooting someone's head off, but you can't say fuck.
True.
Are you kidding?
That's a good point, sir. That's a good point. And because I know they're going to be watching this episode, we love you, library.
I
But
love
good
the
point.
library.
Good point, though. Because and I'm like, well, we know how to control ourselves.
What if I say, like, I don't know, grabbed a copy of Huck Finn and started reading it out loud?
Well,
if-
in this
there's
environment, that could
children
get
around?
crazy. That could
I don't know. This library is full of the word fuck.
You'd have a lot of people very excited that you're reading that.
Yeah.
True.
And then all of a sudden, for some reason, DeSantos is in the audience. He's like, that's banned book. I'm so sorry, sir. And I heard you talking about me last week. Because in my mind, that's how he sounds.
You've never
So-
heard him
Yeah.
speak.
I can't do impressions. That's all I got. So
Kind of. He sounds normal. he doesn't sound like a ruffian. Like
well, I want him to
It's
sound
easier
like
to villainize him
an
if he doesn't sound like that.
uneducated.
I'm not going to read any books.
Exactly.
You remember Sling Blade? Okay. He always
Isn't that Billy Bob?
Yes, Billy Bob Thornton. He got an Oscar for it. Okay, so I want to get into things. So someone asked me this week, fascinating. I'd love to get you guys' take on this. They said, you talk about so many things, but a lot of it is political. And I said, that's a good point. And I feel like just existing as a queer person in this space, you're just political because you're alive with this. You know what I mean? It's okay. Even if someone chooses not to talk politics, as a queer person, you're political because they, the overall they, use you as politics. Thoughts?
Exactly. Well, I fear my catchphrase now. Privilege.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You know, if you're gay and you exist, if you're queer you exist, then you're a political pawn for
Yeah.
one, because it will maybe one day not, but wedge
Yeah.
issues and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to discuss it because it affects us so much. Marriage, voting rights, like we were talking last week with the voter ID laws and trans
Yeah.
people. It affects us as a whole.
And right now we are in a space where we are protected. We're still on the chopping block. I mean, we're going to talk about how we're closer to at least marriage being safe space for us again, and it's further than we thought it'd ever be. But the fact is, as just existing, it's because there's so many laws that are trying to take away rights. I am. And that's whether I'm on this microphone saying vote, or whether I'm on this microphone talking like last week or a couple weeks ago when we were talking about cute politicians. I'm still political.
Hi,
It just
Zach.
doesn't matter what it is. What's your opinion on this, Emmett?
Yeah, no, I'd say when I came out as a transgender man, I knew that there was going to be a certain amount of politics that I would have to, that are included in this because people's rights are very important, and my rights have been nothing but violated. So
Yes.
I find myself maybe getting a little political,
Yeah.
to fight for, people's rights, fight for
Right.
your right.
Exactly. And yet there is this, I think I'm maybe projecting, but hear it in your voice. There is this piece that wishes it wasn't all political. We all want to, it would be nice if we could, go take a break and it not be there. Sadly, that is not, and I do not foresee that happening for any of us in this room in our lifetime. But, there is that, like, it would be nice to breathe and not
focus
worry.
on other real issues.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I'd love to look at the budget and
Right? Exactly.
that's great. Like, state income tax. Oh, yeah, but I'm not equal, so
Well,
do I
Yeah.
really care?
I'm not allowed.
Well, I mean, I care, but it's like until we have
It's
the
a
equal rights that we all
hierarchy.
need to, it's going
Yep.
to be my number one issue to focus on.
Exactly. It's a hierarchy. It's a priority
Yeah.
list that we have to do first.
I think there's a big group of the LGBT plus community that doesn't focus on
Oh, there is.
the politics at all,
Yeah.
unless it does come down to something that affects them directly.
And we're lucky that those people who typically don't get involved this time got involved. I think something, we talked last week, something scared them. And so they ran, because you're right, there is a huge, and I think we all want that luxury, but we honestly, that's a privilege we don't have. You know what I mean?
Well,
to
and-
continue the privilege. I've had so many conversations about that this week.
Something I've also heard from people is they think that a lot of the right didn't vote because they assumed the system was rigged, which is just so funny that they kind of shot themselves in the foot like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think also part is they assumed the red wave was going to happen. So, well, if that's going to happen, I don't have to. So, first of all, thank you to those people who decided not to vote. Thanks for taking one for our team. But yeah, those are the exact things. So it was an interesting question to me also, to have it asked by a cis white male was fascinating to me, because it is, again, it's part privilege, part bigotry, I think, to assume that, well, why is it political? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's weird.
I will say one thing that you said, they need to focus on things that matter. Right now, they're letting murderers go free, letting them out. And that wasn't the way, what does that teach people?
Well, tell me more about this. I mean, they do all the time. But
Yeah,
no, I'm curious
but
about
they're
this.
picking on us. So it's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
so it's like, what?
It's
Focus on what matters.
Well, it's an easy wedge issue, and it can rile up a base, and it can get people really upset.
Yeah.
Or the opposite of that is the number of marijuana offenders that are in jail. Right?
Still, yeah.
Like,
Still, well, Biden finally came and did let a lot of them free, but that also gets me too. You let a lot of them free? Why?
A lot.
Yeah. What? First of all, define it. Second of all, why were some not let free? Well, these guys, I don't know. They just gave me a bad feeling. You know what I
'cause
mean?
they weren't white.
Yeah. That is, true.
Oh.
They used that for a long time. This very weird issue to be like, oh, you smoking pot, so but yeah, and if you're pulled over in a white guy, high as fuck. Then,
If stop and frisk existed in my neighborhood growing up, I would be in jail. Like, that's just,
right.
At some point, I would have gotten in trouble.
I would say if you had pink hair back then, it might have happened.
Well,
'Cause you look
Seattle,
different.
It worked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. But this is an interesting question as well, because I don't know if you guys read, there was a New York Times article that then, let's take the queer issue into even more. There is a big debate within the queer community about the word queer, which is fascinating to me, because when Kurt and I came up with this a long time ago, and we specifically decided we wanted queer in our title, because to us it opened up an inclusivity that was larger. But then David Sedaris let out a video, who is a satirist and amazing, funny man, right? Let out a video. He's 62 years old, and he said he's tired of having to rebrand. He said he's rebranded 4 times in his life. He started out as a homosexual, then he was gay, then he was LGBTQ, and now he's queer, and he's just going to go ahead and say that he's straight. And funny, but at the same time it started, so this woman who, with the New York Times, she decided to take that and talk about, her name is Pamela Paul, talk about why in the world are we giving so much spotlight to the word queer? Why isn't it gay? And why isn't it this? Why are there 8 million things? And she talked, because this week, the new president of the HRC started, and she started saying, well, in her big opening statement about what she was going to do in her tenure there, she didn't even mention lesbian, gay, she just used queer. And so this Pamela Paul took offense to this on our behalf, I guess. and
Always
says,
appreciated.
That's great. And is saying, so now there's this big, what's fascinating is David Steres, a prominent gay man, is saying, tired of this queer thing. I don't understand it. I just don't want to do this anymore. And they're making this, and I will say we've received an email a few weeks ago from a gentleman who, not an email, it was a post. You had talked to him as well. You'll remember it in a minute. I'm pointing at Tom. It's just, he had said, appreciate your show. I don't like that you use queer.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. And so what's fascinating to me is because I'm naive or whatever, I never even crossed my mind. It wouldn't have changed my mind and what I would name the show, because for me, queer is an inclusive statement that also includes more than just my sexuality.
And it's taking it back as well, because it's a word that was reclaimed, in my opinion, by the community. And yes, it encompasses everyone. Yeah. And I can say the queer community is comprised of these groups of people.
Right.
And the acronym just, the LGBT, it gets too long.
LGBTQIAA. I can't remember.
Prince's symbol is in there.
It just adds a little bit, I think, more inclusivity. It's like the rainbow flag, adding more colors.
Yes,
but also,
thank you.
A lot of people were like, why do we need that? Well, because someone didn't feel included.
Yeah.
And this community is about inclusion. So
And
more colors, more pride.
if in our community, the general statement that I agree with, but the general statement typically is, however you want to be identified, we will respect you, and as we should. But now there's queer people saying, except if you use the word queer to identify yourself, I don't agree with that. Part of it is it's convenient to have infighting in our community because that only helps the conservative aspect, because we want that. So part of me is like, here's my conspiracy. Part of me is like, they planted it. This woman is coming in. And part of me is like, I know gay people. I know queer people. I know we like drama at times. And so this is naturally where we will end up. But this conversation about a word, I feel like, is wanting to talk about real issues is a distraction that I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Controversy.
Yeah. So, what's the comfort level in this room? Queer?
I usually will just say I'm gay. But
I say I'm gay a lot,
I'll
but
say the
queer
word
doesn't bother me.
I don't really care what people call me. I don't know.
Well, listen, don't say that.
No, that's kind of a blanket. That's kind of an open thing. If people call me the wrong name, call me the wrong name. It doesn't really matter to me. Like most of the people that will call me the wrong name, I won't see again. So it's like
It's
not like I'll
Jim,
avoid them.
right? Jim.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've had
See,
Tim. Yeah. I've had Jim. I've had Todd. It just, for me, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we start giving him a different name every day?
Every time we're in here.
At several of my jobs, I've told them I said Tom, Tommy, Thomas, but I don't really care what you call me. So I've had people call me Steve. I've had people my coworkers just gave me a new name.
You look like a Steve.
Yeah.
And every time we come in, we're gonna have a new name tag made, and we're just
perfect.
gonna be like, just wear
Wear it
that
on my forehead.
Wear that. I mean, what do you feel about the word itself, or how do you choose to identify in our alphabet?
It's funny because when I come out as a transgender male, first thing people say is, do you like guys or do you like girls? And I'm like, that's totally
like
separate.
they need to, and like it's their business.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
what type of trans guy are you? They want more information, right?
And that's
they want to
exactly-
know what you're doing in the bedroom.
When
That's really what everyone
It
focuses
is
on.
exactly.
Or depending
it.
on the person, they want to know if they should flirt with you or not. Maybe.
When
Well,
I
that's
know,
a nicer.
When I know, I'll let them know.
That's a very positive
And
spin.
maybe I won't.
Right?
It doesn't always have to be malicious.
If you need to know, I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
None of your biz.
Yeah, that is an interesting. I never would have crossed my mind, but that's
Right.
fascinating. Sir, how do you like it? The queer.
Well, Jonathan, I'm glad
Just-
you asked.
Like I brought diagrams.
I go both ways. No, it's depending on the community I'm addressing, or what the context is. Sometimes I'll identify just as a queer person.
Yeah.
One, because it screws at a lot of people's heads,
It
because they're like, what does that mean? One, because
does.
I'm not saying man or woman.
Yeah.
And queer could be anything, but I'll refer to the queer community as a whole, because in my experience, I'm less likely to leave someone out.
Right. Right.
Because we have kind of made this all-encompassing umbrella. It's kind of like when trans just became trans, when it was shortened down, because it was at the time the people I knew that were part of that community were saying that's just inclusive, and that way you're not leaving anything out. And the general belief is that it encompasses the entire umbrella.
Right.
With throwing the trans group into LGB, that's sexuality, not gender. So queer encompasses sexuality and gender.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so good, is because if I don't want this to come across wrong, I think it's unfortunate that trans got linked into that group. Yeah. Because it's labeled about sexuality and not about gender. Yeah. And then it automatically makes trans about sexuality. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you getting asked that, it's under there. But queer is gender and sexuality.
I love that. And also, you're welcome. As I look at the camera, such an intelligent, because that's something we're not talking about. And I will say, so I read all of the people who are responding on the New York Times to this, and one of the people was I think a teen young man who was bringing that up, and I was like, no one's talking about this very thing. And I think there's probably goods and bads to that. The good is someone was trying to let's have a whole group that can. But in the end, it just caused a lot of confusion for, especially for cis white people.
Yeah.
To be, cis straight white people.
I like watching the wheels turn in their heads, though.
Yeah, right?
I don't get it. Who puts what where?
And that's so fascinating, because if we ever asked the same of them, they would be appalled.
I had one of my memories that popped up the other day. It was, in response to all the masks and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, if you're vaccinating your home. And I said, for people that seem to care, I totally just lost it. It was really funny, though, I promise. And we're hearing a lot of, you don't get to tell me what to do in my house, from people that really care what I do in my house.
Such a true statement. Oh, we should bring that up. But it's true. People want to be intrusive. I feel like I've been gay for so long that people are like, I'm tired of asking you anything. So, I don't think they need to ask you
It's also a very sexually repressed society. Let's talk about that part too. And that's a little like, I guess you can play a video game where you shoot someone in the head, but God forbid we see a dick on TV. Yeah. Like, it's just not going to happen.
When I started years ago making sure I would tell people that I'm sex positive and I don't believe in slut shaming, and it doesn't matter because we wanted to do that on our radio show. I cannot tell you the amount that people will lose their minds because how dare you not want to derogatorily tell someone they're a slut? I'm like, wait, sex... We are too hung up on sex. Sex is pleasure. It's human. It's nature. It's all of it. But that's a side note too. But yeah, that's the thing that gets me. So, and this is, I always try to take the Maya Angelou route, which is, it's a play on her when someone shows you who they are, believe them. But if someone tells me how they want to be addressed, how they want to be perceived, how they want me to see them, why do I give a shit about anything else? Why is it so hard to be like, okay, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the thing that's hard for me. Like, I don't get it.
I think it's still not quite normalized. That might be why.
Not at all. Yeah. How do we normalize it?
Just keep existing and just keep, fielding obnoxious questions and respectful, trying to find a way to tell people that here's why this question's kind of weird. Yeah. I'll answer questions, but just moving forward, maybe don't ask every, gay, or queer person that you find, don't ask them this question. But I'm like, I've told my family that. I've said, do not be afraid to ask me a question, because they're all conservative and don't like the gay, don't like me being gay. But I just
don't like the gay.
I just told all the people from church and all my family, don't be afraid to ask me a question, because I'm not going to get offended, but I'll also be able to field those and let you know moving forward. That'll probably offend somebody else.
Yeah. And I enjoy, and not everybody is able to do that, but I enjoy that. I have a bunch of even older than me. It's crazy.
What?
Friends in the heterosexual world, and I will say, they always say things like, I'm so glad you let me ask things and you never get offended and I know it's safe. I said, yeah, if you are asking and your intention is to learn and to grow, I will always be there for you. But obviously if it's to disrespect, denigrate, all these things, man, we're going to have problems. But that's not, those people in my life, that's not what they're doing. So it's the same safe space you offer your family.
But basically this long term, because everything's moving very fast in the social, socially with the LGBTQ plus community, where we want everything to happen now, and it's still really new to a lot of people. I mean, the we're still in the generation that, they're still alive, that, they would throw people in insane asylums if they were, anything but very straight. So we're expecting in one generation everything to change, and it's not all going to change. It's going to take time.
Well, and let's be honest, there are still countries where you can be killed, beheaded, all these things for your sexuality.
Of course,
you know what I mean? Yeah, so you're right.
Well, and that's happening in the world while we're still, fussing over people asking us kind of silly questions.
Yeah.
And, not to say that's wrong for you to not want to answer those questions, but looking at the bigger picture, we have a lot of ground to gain, and we shouldn't expect everybody to just bow to what we want straight away.
Although I do want to say, we say it's moving fast. It's funny because moving fast is still moving really turtle slow. You know what I mean?
We've only had gay marriage for 7 years now, right?
But I'm even talking before that, to when the world acts like we're new. Oh, like they're just walking, there's a gay person. I forgot you were here. No, I've been here for, hundreds of years. It's just that certain rights are new. But overall, the excuse that they will use, again, quotes, will use, it's so fast. You're just wanting things so fast is, okay, girl, no. It is not so fast. It is. And, I mean, I get to the point, Nina Simone had a song back in the 60s, and it was about civil rights, and it was Mississippi Goddamn. And she wrote it because she was so frustrated by people always saying, just play nice and we'll get there. Just, play by the rules. Just have your neighbors, stick to your people, and we'll get there. And in the song, she's like, I'm done. Like one of the lines is, me and my people are just about through. And that, I think we still need that.
Well, I think there's a balance, because I'm not saying that we shouldn't be pushing for this stuff. I'm saying that we shouldn't be confused that it's not happening.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of reasons why the people in the white, all in the in power right now are in their 70s and 80s and 90s, and they're the ones that don't understand this. They barely understand the internet. I
love that there was this brief pause when you said the people in the white, and I was like, hoods in the white. What are we? Where are we going? But yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, it's sad because I know there are people of a certain age that are progressive and wonderful, but the sad thing is, the ones we put in office, most of them are not those.
We just have to burn off this straggling generation from these baby boomers need to get out of here.
Yeah, get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, boomers.
Boomers. And if you live in Tulsa, like I did, that means something totally different. Because at the football games, you say "Boomer" Sooner, because that's a historical reference.
Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, from the Land Rush days and all of that good stuff. So, but yes, so there we go. So how would you solve it, Corey?
Ooh.
All of the confusion that's in our world today.
It's easy to identify a problem. It's hard to find the solution.
Identify. Tell your story. That's one of the big things that we did during the marriage equality thing in Washington State. It was all about tell your story. People are going to be more likely to become accepting or at least tolerant of something if they can put a face to it.
If it's humanized.
And there was a representative from Walla Walla when they were doing the vote in the state house for Washington State, and she got up and everyone cheered because she's this Republican, and she's like, then my daughter came out to me and I changed my opinion, and my first thing was, go fuck yourself that it took your daughter coming out for you to actually like gay people, right? Yeah. But that's what we're up against is until it personally affects someone, they don't care.
I personally believe Schumer wouldn't have fought so hard for the Respect for Marriage Act, except that his daughter's a lesbian, is married, and they're expecting a baby. I feel like if that hadn't been part of, and given our life informs us, but it is kind of like, well, maybe just don't be a dick in general.
It's superhuman to not care about something until it affects you. That's like when it comes to death. It's pretty easy to make jokes about people dying and stuff, and then you have a family member that's in the hospital and dies and whatever, and suddenly it's real, and you make less jokes about it and what have you.
But you know what? And at the same time, I think death is a weird thing, because I held my dad's hand 20 years ago when he passed on, and I love him to death, and I still make bad jokes.
Well, but given time, sure. Yeah.
I make dead mom jokes all the time, but this is how I deal with things, but with humor.
To your point, I get your point that's based on a larger level, but it is kind of still fun to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's representation and visibility. That's the steps, I think.
But I think, as you were saying, I think the smartest thing that the marriage equality fight did was because, they shifted. They didn't start out by trying to tell stories and trying to talk about, gay people being married as a normal thing. They didn't start there, but they pivoted there, and that was where everything changed.
Well, the first with the domestic partnership, the first one was they added if you're over a certain age, you could be opposite sex couple, because that way people could get married and not lose their Social Security.
Exactly.
So we got a huge senior vote in favor of domestic partnerships in Washington State because they crafted the bill so smartly of like, hey, do you get your dead spouse's Social Security? Do you want to get married again?
And they're
do you want to screw over? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take away my Social Security.
You know
then
what?
let the gays marry.
And that's the weird art of politics. You know what I mean? It's just like when they do a bill and they tack on a bunch of things 80 pages in, and they know you're never going to read that far. So that get passed, and you're like, what? What just happened? You know, that is the art of this game. I mean, and let's talk about the Respect for Marriage Act. That was because we knew that, you know, Clarence Thomas said that they were looking, after they did Roe v. Wade, that they were going to come after Obergefell, that whole case that gave us the right as gay people to get married. Then shockingly, the powers that be were like, we should probably put something together so that the Supreme Court can't take this. We're going to codify it into law. And then it's actually so far working. I never trust anything till it's done.
Didn't McConnell say that he wouldn't support it?
He didn't support it.
Right.
Him and 37 Republicans didn't, but 12 did, and that's what we needed to push it.
Right.
So, first of all, 12 Republicans, at least thank you for supporting us there. But no, and I love that Mitch McConnell looked so happy. Well, as much as he can look happy, you kind of have to read the tone, because he looks the same no matter what he looks like he's going to eat babies.
It does look scary
no
when
matter
he smiles.
what.
Have you ever seen him smile before?
I don't want to. That sounds horrible.
You think he looks bad when he's frowning?
Right.
Horrific.
His face just the muscles don't work that way.
I don't think
His
they
voice
do.
is really fun to impersonate, though.
What? Mitch McConnell, Mitchy boy.
I don't know if we should be voted for this.
Right, and he was proud to not. But in the end, because Schumer was smart and they're going to push this through before 2023 when everything shifts, still, though, what it said to me was, we still can reach across the aisle and get something done that's good in a bipartisan way, because the numbers are not as great as they thought they would be. So there's still possibilities to get things done. It's still considered a lame duck Congress for the new year, but I feel like this gave me hope.
By the way, just something I found out recently, Mitch McConnell is in a biracial marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I didn't know that.
And this Respect for Marriage Act is also to protect
it's a blanket.
the whole thing. Yeah. In the love, I forget what it was called, the case in the Supreme Court that then finally allowed legality to biracial marriage or interracial marriage.
Can they put a little thing in there, unless you're Clarence Thomas?
Wouldn't that be great? I know. And doesn't
Everyone's
it make you
marriage
go,
except Clarence Thomas.
Does he remember Jenny? That's his wife. Does he remember that? I'm like, dude, or what is he doing? He's like, I need a loophole.
Yeah,
and
right.
So, but they were talking about that. Like, what does his wife think? He just voted against our marriage. I mean, that's got to be, and they've been married
they don't see it that
for
way,
a
I'm
while.
sure.
Oh, of course not. But it's a thing they should. They should look at that and go, so, but the good news is it's made it through. So now we have to go over, because that's Senate, right? And so it has to go to House. House is going to be fine because right now we're doing well in there. And so that's supposed to happen after Thanksgiving. And then they're moving super fast, because if Biden can sign it into law before 2023, we're good. And of course, if Trump gets in there, he will overturn it or whatever. He'll write some executive statement. But this is a beautiful thing. I mean, right away, Ian Sullivan was on our last show. He texted me right away and he says, "Fuck you, Mitch McConnell." And I was like, this is the best text I've ever had in my life.
I don't even need context for that.
No, none. And I never
just text me that all the time.
Yeah. I was like, Ian and I never really talk over text. And so it was my favorite. I'm just at work and then my phone goes up. I'm like, oh, that's good. Yes, you're right, sir. So there's how I found hope in that. I still refuse to give up. Now, people spiral. Kurt, how are you doing? Kurt spirals all the time.
He's feeling
I
good.
still find hope. And he helps me. He helps me. Sometimes it takes effort, but it reminds me that there is hope. Because I worry the day I'm not hopeful, Kurt's whole world is going to fall apart because he goes hardcore. And that there's no hope in this world. Yeah. So okay, good.
We all agree with you, Jonathan.
But I know, and you don't have to, but it's smart when you do. I'm just saying. But all of this happening is really all about Republicans are trying. This is what's fascinating to me. Can we talk about that? There's been polling done that has found that 70% of Americans, including a majority of Republicans, support same-sex marriage. Yeah. The issue remains political and politically untouchable for GOP lawmakers, and that makes no sense. Other than it's further proof that it's not about representing your constituents for them. It's about something is not playing into their pocket.
It's a religious. It just comes down to religion.
But even that, it's not even that. Most of these people would sell their mother out with religion. They're getting something from this. Because Mitch McConnell could give two shits about which God, or it's something that Republicans are getting. And because for them to say 70% of people are for this, and we're like, you know what? We're not going to do this. The question is, what's wrong with your party? You know what I mean? And I don't buy that it's religion. I don't buy it because religion, first of all, has been manipulating people from the dawn of time. And it's never been about that. It's who has the power.
Sure.
And the Christian right, when Bush, the second Bush, figured out that if he had the Christian right, if he could play their game, they had so much influence that he could get what he wanted, and the whole game changed. And it hasn't been for the better. But he got what he wanted. You know, if you get the Christian right, if you can get in good with them, you know. Because power isn't in control, and religion is made to control. And bring on the hate mail, because I know it's coming.
Well, you look at the way the maps are drawn, and you know, land doesn't vote, right? But you see these maps, and there's so much of red in the middle, and the flyover states, you know, that the Bible Belt is called that for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And if that gets lost by the party, they're over. So
yes, and they know it.
So even though if the party's against it, it's like every single person that claims to be a hardcore GOP supporter, they can find some other reason. Well, I know that they're against gay marriage, but I'm more worried about insert something here about they're the party of fiscal responsibility. Yeah. Funny, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're going to find some other reason to spin off.
Exactly.
But that piece needs to stay there with the same thing with the abortion issue, because if they lose those areas, then the party's done.
Exactly. And that is the smartest thing, and that's why maybe watch your phones tonight, because you just said something. They're probably going to tap your phone now and go after you, just so you know.
Yeah, and
airplane mode.
Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the Bible Belt, when I moved to Tulsa, I didn't understand that it was the buckle of the Bible Belt, and there is a university down there. It's a Christian-based university where they have to sign contracts about not having sex or whatever. It's so stupid. And they have the largest bronze praying hands. They're like 80 stories tall in the middle of Tulsa. First time I saw it, I screamed because I didn't know it was coming. No one warned me. And it's basically there. I think it's like that old, what is that movie with the luck dragon?
Oh, Pete's Dragon.
No, different.
Never Ending Story.
Never Ending Story. And you know how they're trying to go through and those things open their eyes and they'll shoot you?
Oh,
but
creepy.
I used to call it slap a sinner. And it would just, if you were too close to it, those hands would come out and smack you down. It's terrifying.
Just pretend it's high fives instead.
Exactly. That's high five gay. Yes. So, no, but I think that is a very true statement. And they know where their power comes from. So, of course, they're going to pander to those. They also know we have spent centuries prepping the minds of people. It's using religion, that those are the people you want to go at. Use their religion to make them rally behind you, because we want them to be afraid the gay people are going to come in to their homes and, you know, it's going to be crazy. So let's rile them up so that we can make sure we stay in control. And with that said, it's like this whole thing about traditional marriage and traditional values, which is, there's no tradition.
Traditional marriage, that's when you barter for your wife, right? Like three pigs and a cow.
I know. I've been saving up to get some goats.
I'm
so
all
that
about that traditional marriage.
So, yeah, right?
And she can't talk unless she's told she can talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do love how they talk about traditional marriage, but conveniently, we didn't mean that. Well, that's
Quaaludes and martinis.
Yeah.
By the way, just thinking of a university, I just saw this very funny video. I think it was in Utah. It was, some LDS university or something. But they asked these people, would you rather die in a horribly torturous, painful way, or watch a pornographic video?
Oh my God.
And most of them said, I guess I'd rather die in a torturous, painful way. Yeah.
Oh my!
Wouldn't want to watch a porn video. You know,
I said, "Bring on the
like
porn."
one lady in that video, they may have cut some people out, was like,
Yeah.
why watch the porn video? What are you talking
Right,
about?
exactly.
But everybody else was like, I'd rather die. Yeah.
See, everybody who said porn, it took them 8 days to make the video because everybody who said the porn have been relocated to a different place. They're like, and you're gone? And you're gone? Look, there were 70 people. Hey, listen, we're in the age where we can manipulate anything we want. But speaking of traditional values, did everybody see what the horrible Candace Cameron Bure is doing? She left the Hallmark Channel. Aren't we? That's so sad. I don't watch these stupid Christmas movies. Kurt, you love them. So I'm sure you're sad to hear that Candace Cameron Bure has left because they've started a new channel. It's something very obnoxious. Hold on. It's
The Great American Family.
that is exactly it. And she is now the head of their creative department. And she can star in any movie she wants because they are only going to do traditional values, traditional married family values movies. And she has said publicly, and that means no gay people. And
They're
I'm
going to run
like,
out of fun stuff real
No
quick.
Christian gay movies?
like that. I know. There's so many of them. What is she
Cutting
doing?
off the flow.
But exactly. I'm like, because, and this is she's saying it out loud because, of course, the first movie Hallmark is releasing is about a gay couple. And the world is ending. I don't know if you noticed. Like, everything's falling apart. Because of this. So Candace is out there. Listen, her brother was here on my birthday. September 24th.
He is the worst.
Kurt
Horrible
Cameron.
Kurt Cameron to do. And last time I mentioned that, Laura was on and she refused to believe it. And I looked it up on my birthday, which is, I guess, why I left town. He was here because he was doing, he was keynote speaker at this big Christian rally about voting. I think it was called Rev Up 2022. So they're
Talking about
very much
Revelation,
the
probably.
same.
That's my guess.
Probably,
Yes.
yeah. Where they want it to be the end times.
That's
really,
clever.
really
That's actually
bad.
kind of a clever name, honestly, if that's what they went for.
It's great
I
marketing.
mean,
Sorry.
yeah,
You-
you
you're-
know it wasn't for cool reasons, but you're right. I mean,
That'd be
someone
marketing.
from marketing was in that meeting,
They're sitting there like, whoa, guys, wait.
right? So Candace is out here talking shit, talking smack about us, and saying that there's no way I'm going to allow my company. She's not the head of it, but it's her and one other guy.
The royal
Yeah. My company isn't going to allow traditional values. First of all, it doesn't affect me because I hate those Christmas movies.
Right.
Hate them. But Kurt, is this devastating? Everybody's turn and look at Kurt.
Nah.
He did this.
He did. Well, Kurt and my bigoted friend that I talk about a lot on here. You guys are both. It's very weird. You're both obsessed with these Christmas movies.
There's
and
a
now,
new one with Lindsay Lohan, by the way.
It's out now.
It is on Netflix.
Yes.
Wait, is the plot something like, oh, she's in town, but only for a week during
Nope.
Christmas, and she meets this guy? And
Something like that.
Yes,
but also
exactly.
there's gays in it. So
See, because she's smart. She
I'm
knows
just
who
saying.
her audience is.
Yeah.
She's not dumb.
Her
Do you
only
know what I
audience
found
now.
out? She was doing the press junket. I didn't know she lives in Dubai now. Did
Lindsay
you know that?
Lohan lives in
Yeah.
Dubai?
Yeah. She had to get out of the toxicity of Hollywood.
I mean, I don't blame her for that.
I don't
And
But
either.
Dubai?
But I'm like,
Dubai.
Dubai. That's fancy.
People probably chased her out.
Oh, well, that's a true statement. Yeah.
I get that.
They
But,
said, you can't put out your cigarettes on our sheets in here anymore, Lindsay.
Right?
but for me, it's just like, Cameron who?
Yeah.
Like,
See, that's
Lindsay
how I
Lohan's
feel
back.
about. Yeah, exactly. I kind of feel that same thing. I just hate that I think about that with Kurt Cameron. The only reason I know who he is because when I was growing up, he had the show Growing Pains.
and his best friend was named Boner, by the way.
Yes.
Like, come on
yes,
now.
he was. And I was like, I didn't know you weren't cool. You're not cool. dude.
No.
You're not cool.
But also that gave us Leonardo DiCaprio. So
It did. And boy, they were pissed when he went and got nominated for an Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
yeah.
They're like, oh, he can actually act? That's not cool. It's making us all look bad on this show. But in the end, so obviously media is very important. Obviously movies are very important. It's all about being seen, right? So company, because this is a huge company. This isn't a small thing. It will rival Hallmark Channel. I don't ever watch Hallmark Channel, but there is a swath of our society that does watch these things. Is that a concern? That this big company is now going to go out there and say, I mean, I will say I love that it's caused a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we can't, it's that whole thing about you can't turn a blind eye all the time, but you don't have to focus. You know what I mean?
So you're saying, is it a concern that this company's going out there teaching the
Being
values
as big as they are, you know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just sort of jaded when it comes to Christian values being projected. But people that want to see that will look at it and agree with it, and that's always how it's been. People will find stuff that they see and they agree with.
And I think it's only going to reach their audience.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're not gonna have someone watch the Christian Christmas movie and be like, I guess I should hate gay people. Like it.
I don't know, because
they already
that
had
does
stuff
happen.
going on. No, they already had stuff going on in their head already. They just are getting affirmed by this. It's same.
Yeah.
It's like if you were to watch some gay movie and they just said and they said, well, actually, maybe we shouldn't have rights. It wouldn't change your mind. You would just agree with that, right? Like
I mean, watching Bros, it was preaching to my choir. I get it. I get what it is. I still think, though, given it doesn't deserve freak out. Like, it's not the freak out level. I want to have, instead of the orange, red, all those alert levels, I want to just have things like freak out.
If we weren't discussing this today,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know about it. That's how much it isn't on my radar.
Well, you know
and
what's
how much
scary,
she
though?
isn't even on my
Why
radar.
is the Wall
Ditto.
Street Journal doing an interview and talking to her
the Wall
about it?
Street-
I'm like,
it's
what?
It leans conservative. The Wall
It
Street
does.
Journal does, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's actual news sometimes.
I know. It's so funny to me. I think what I would say is I think I've been burned too many times in the past because we should always be aware, but like I'm not going to waste a lot of brain space on it, but we should always be aware, especially these larger, it's like these mega churches. We should be aware of
Trump
them.
making his
You know
own
what I mean?
social media network because he didn't like
Didn't
what it was on.
you hear it? Yeah, and
Yeah.
it failed.
Well, this is what I
It
think
was
of
a
that.
beautiful day
It's
in
like, I
America.
don't like that Hallmark is doing gay stuff, so I'm going to go and start my own network or
Right.
not.
I know.
Cool.
And this is what I have to say. Last year,
Slow clap her out of the room. Like,
Netflix
good
did
for
their
her.
first last year their
Oh,
gay thing,
yes.
single all the way. It was, and I'm like, listen,
I like the
thank you, yeah, right.
That's about it. But it's funny.
And I
though.
want to say thank you for doing it, but also, this is horrible, but could you be better if you're gonna do it? It had Kathy Najimy. I love her, and I'm like, this
I thought that was okay.
is the
But
worst
it was the-
script.
I did see
It
that.
was the
Yeah,
caliber of all the other Christmas movies you get, though. So
Oh,
really,
see,
isn't
that's
that
why
a
I don't
quality
watch
right
that
there?
crap.
That's a
I
quality.
do not watch that crap.
Do it
It's
the
like-
same
Well, and
as
guess-
everything else.
that is
And guess what the plot was
equality.
about? It was about a person who's only in town
Yes.
for about a week,
Yes.
and they meet this person.
Exactly.
And,
And then it's like, well, we're gonna hook him up because it's the one gay guy that mom knows, and then his best friend though, he's over here and it was formula to it hurt to watch the movie. It hurt.
And it was so good.
But Kathy
Painful.
Najimy, I'll watch anything she does, and
Oh,
also
right.
the great Stifler's mom,
Muppet
Jennifer
People.
Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
That voice. Can you do Jennifer Coolidge? Is that a voice you can do?
I'll get back to you.
Can
on
you work on that? Because I would
Oh,
like to do a whole
guys.
show. I want to do a
that.
whole
She was
show
in,
where it's
wasn't
her.
she the one that says, "Oh, I want a hot dog real bad"?
Yes,
You look like the 4th of
July.
July.
Legally
Makes
blonde.
me want a hot dog real bad.
It's sad that it's the one thing I wish I could do in life. I can do a million things, but no, this is the only thing I want. Dude, Jennifer Coolidge voice. But anyways, yeah, so that was you're right. We have equality. All shitty quality Christmas movies. We got it. Nailed it.
And the new one with Lindsay Lohan, which I just can't.
Did
so
you
I
watch
said Lindsay
it?
Lohan like 7 times. I was so happy.
I know. Did
Granted,
you watch it?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
you did.
It was really cute.
Oh, it
There's
was,
a whole
okay.
scene where she turns on Jingle Bell Rock and she starts singing it.
Just like in
Oh
Mean
my
Girls.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
And the guy turns it off. He's like, "That's a stupid song." She's like, "I like this."
That's
The only thing was missing was her looking at the camera and winking.
that would be perfect. Yeah, that would be perfect. I am curious, but I couldn't bring myself yet.
You have to.
Yeah, see? Oh.
Or fast forward to the end and just watch the last like 5 minutes.
And there's a gay person in it, I hear.
Whoa.
No, I know.
Whoa, what?
What is happening? Yes,
He does
there's-
wardrobe. He's not actually in the movie.
Is it true? Yes, that's exactly. They're like, well, he's in the credits.
I don't
We
want to
didn't
admit. There's
say.
no spoiler alerts, but yes, there is the gay person.
Okay,
in it.
good. I'm gonna have to break down. I'm just glad that I saw the interviews and Lindsay looks like she might be back to sane, and I appreciate that part of my Lindsay Lohan.
And none for Gretchen Wieners. Bye.
And there it is.
I love it so much. Well, you guys, this is, as usual, it met my expectations in this room, which is we talked about, actually, we were more on topic than usual, and we still took little trails, as my dad would say, chasing rabbits.
Did I did? Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Did you see that story I sent you on Facebook?
Oh, my God. Okay. We still have 5 minutes to talk this out. First of all, I thought someone had hacked your account, so I wasn't sure it was really you.
You didn't think I would send that to you?
Secondly, well,
Out of character.
I just don't know. Well, not out of character.
Just played.
Not out of character.
I wasn't sure. All I kept thinking, so tell the story, and all I kept thinking was, this can't be real.
Which I didn't read through the whole article. I got so excited to
I
send
read
it
it
to Jonathan
all.
that I just sent
I
it to
read it
Okay, so you
all.
can fill in the gaps. So
No
pun intended.
Yeah.
So a woman got pulled aside from TSA because she had a butt plug in. And it was
but
a
it's
butt plug
special.
of her father's ashes.
Her boyfriend's
ashes.
Wow.
It's in there, and this is her reasoning. Her reasoning is because that was his favorite place.
Aww.
I
His
mean,
favorite place.
That's so sweet.
that's sweet. That's really sweet.
It just killed me. Right? Exactly. Just a collective. Oh.
But I think they confiscated it, right?
They had to because she was flying from the United Arab Emirates, and that's a very strict. And they said, listen, okay, now we understand, we hear what you're saying, but if you leave this airport at all, we're arresting you and sending you to jail.
That's how you FedEx that shit.
Yeah, yes.
Or just stick it in your front. I don't care if it's in the air.
Because I was like,
That's a good point. But that wasn't the boyfriend's favorite spot.
no, it wasn't.
That might be
She
the
was-
second or third favorite spot.
She was honoring him. And I
keep
just
him
kept
close.
thinking, what is happening? So part of me was like, I read through it all just because, if
You
it
did
is
your work.
really,
You did your work.
if
yeah.
it is really Tom, I'm going to read what
You did
he
your
sent
homework
me.
for me, yeah.
But I was just like, this can't be right. And she did the whole story on TikTok. I'm like, what is happening to our society? Yeah, if it's true, it's crazy because she's Australian. She was going to Australia.
She put it down under.
And yeah.
I'm actually I'm meeting a friend tomorrow to pick up some ashes from my friend.
No.
This is so perfect. This would have been a story that he laughed so hard.
It is my favorite quote was since she's doing
Granted,
this whole
I have a little
paragraph.
necklace, a pendant to put in
That's
there.
that's better.
not about
I love that her and I love that she's so open about saying, "Well, that was his favorite place." I'm like, "Girl, too much information. TMI. I don't need to know this."
I have this butt plug in my mouth because that was my boyfriend's favorite place. Wait.
Gotta keep them
It's
close.
so funny to me. So that's fascinating to me. And so if you're listening, you can do the homework for us and tell me, is this real? Did this really happen?
It made me
'Cause,
laugh. I don't care if
wow,
it's real.
It was hysterical. But I do want to know if it's real because it's even more entertaining. I want someone to tell me.
I believe that
Is it
someone
real?
somewhere has that.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
believe that
it.
entirely.
Well, it looked painful. Did you see the picture of it?
It was like metal.
It was metal. And I'm like, there's no give.
They sell those?
There is no. Yeah, they do.
Wow.
And now
And
it's
it had an engraving on it.
Yeah.
Which
Oh.
I think the boyfriend's name.
I also
That-
want to know what funeral home was like. Yeah, we offer this. I want to know
Totally
that.
an option.
Like you can have this.
Well, and imagine
mahogany-
how big it had to be to fit all the ashes.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
Oh
so it
my
couldn't have been
God.
all of it. Otherwise, she would
Woo.
be dead. Because you know,
I don't know.
it's a
there-
big.
I don't know.
We don't know how big the boyfriend was.
This is so horrible.
Are you glad that
But
I?
listen.
Thank you
great.
for entertaining. my article I wanted to
It
talk
is
about.
funny.
Thank you,
It-
Tom.
It is funny, but the metal, I'm concerned with I could not do metal. That's very concerning.
Now there's
The
going to be a butt
library's
plug on the sign.
right. Yes.
With the knives and the
The
tweezers
library's
and all
calling
that.
me
It's gonna be
tomorrow
butt
to
plug.
take back letting us have the library. They're like, oh, we listened to your latest show. No, it's going to be fine. Anyways, thank you all for being in there. Before we leave, because I just talked about us, tell us something about you. You're a brand new guest. Your first time on the mic.
I will touch on this for society. Gender and sexual orientation are two separate things.
Very separate things. Yes.
But yes, on the 22nd, I'm having my top surgery.
Ooh.
And such a big deal.
Yay, Celebrate. Yes.
Yes. Oh
Huge
my God,
deal.
It's unreal.
Huge deal. Yeah, because it takes a long time just to get there because of all the things you have to do.
All the hoops that you have to jump through.
You have to be mentally sane.
Yeah. Oh, see. I would never make it.
But there is a awesome transgender program in Washington State where they will pay for all your surgeries, hormones, even
That's amazing.
even like jaw implants, pec implants, everything for FTM and MF.
I had no idea.
The opposite of FTM. Wow.
That is-
TF, right?
I think that's
so.
right.
Yeah. MTF. That's freaking amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
That's
through
awesome.
I think the Healthcare Authority.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can probably Google that or
We're going to have you on because we need a throw party.
Yes.
Because I know
I'd
you're
love to come
excited and
back.
nervous, but I'm very excited that for you. So
Can we do like a bye-bye boobs party?
We're going to hack these suckers off.
I love that.
wow, I feel like the one that has to answer that is Emmett.
I'm sorry, Emmett.
You were looking at Jonathan.
What's Jonathan? Jonathan is the one that invites me here.
I do.
Emmett,
coming
I would
off.
love to
I
have a
do.
bye-bye boobs party. Maybe like
That
reverse
is-
pin the
I
tail on
would
the
love
donkey.
that.
Like rip the boobs
Oh my
off.
God.
I'm sorry.
See, I will
Let's
just
do it. I'm totally down.
This is how my face should be.
Party.
Just the whole time looking like this, just looking right at you. What do I do? What do I do? I love it, and I love that that is a very open and personal thing to share. And so I wasn't going to say anything on the show, but I think it's a good educational moment for a lot of people. So thank you for feeling
Yes,
like
definitely.
you could do that.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me
That's
here,
exciting.
and I'd love to come back.
Yeah, and you should. And people might accidentally find you on stages, and that's always fun too because you're a funny comedian.
Yes, Spokane Comedy Club.
Yeah, I love it, and you're putting out videos, and so people know who you are, and I think that's awesome. All we're trying to do is
Thank
live
you.
our lives.
That's right.
That's what we're trying to do.
That's
so
right,
I love
definitely.
it, Corey. Sometimes I remember you, and sometimes
I know it's hard. I hope that if you're hearing my voice, you know who I am now,
yes.
or else you haven't seen any other episode.
Yeah, then you need to like rewind. Always a blast when you come in.
I love coming in here.
It's so much fun. I also love that you have so many styles. That's my favorite thing about you, because I need that. I have one style, and it's
Well, you guys
wearing
coordinated
clothes.
the flannel this week, right?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, it was the queer vibes in the air. It was like ooh,
Exactly.
flannel.
Yes. Heterosexual people don't understand this, but we speak subliminally. Yeah. So be afraid. Be very afraid.
Lots of body language.
My plastic surgeon, Dr. Stiller, actually has that same color hair.
Are you serious? See, I trust people who are creative and expressive. It's just
Exactly.
intrinsically.
That's why he doesn't trust
I
me.
was like, I thought it was going to be some old uptight man or something like that. And then I saw his hair and I'm like, oh, thank
That's
the Lord.
awesome. Well, Corey, thank you for
Thanks for
stepping
having me
in
back,
again.
yeah.
And we're going to make you do something. Actually, people, you would have already heard his voice by this point in the podcast, but you're stepping in for a sketch.
I'm
And I
excited about that.
appreciate you for doing that. Because sometimes I just write shit and I'm like, Tom, there's more than just us. So we're going to throw this guy in over here.
And I'm sure he did a great job and had a perfect, non-offensive line delivery. But of course, we haven't recorded it
I
yet,
know.
so I guess
It
we'll
should
see.
be fun. Everybody's
Totally.
going to love it. It's going to be amazing. So thank you all for coming in. Of course, you need to find us every Tuesday on thequeercentric.com. Now you can also watch the video that it's going to be on our website, but we also officially release it on socials on Fridays. And there's lots of fun little videos that happen in between. So you can get your full fill of everything, all the craziness that we bring to the airwaves. I have a great time. I love that people come in and still do it, and they're like, no one's like, oh, we heard about this. Thank you.
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. So remember,
Maybe
we
after
taught
this.
you everything you need to know about phobias, spiders, sharks, and snakes, which should be a song.
Oh, I like
There we
it.
go. Spiders, sharks, and
Lyrics.
snakes. And then talking about
Also
some
Australia.
cool issue. And
That's all there.
oh my God, Australia is built to kill anybody who goes there. It wants you dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. Okay, well, that's another show. But
We love
until
you in
next
Australia.
time- yeah, we do. Until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.
See ya.